Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutcheon.
Whitetail Rendezvous is pleased to announce a partnership with GoHunt.com. Who's GoHunt.com? Well, if you're a DIY hunter in the western states of the United States, you need the information at GoHunt.com/insider. Why? Because it provides 4,200 profiles, every unit, every species, and every season. Furthermore, they give in-depth analysis, interactive maps, unit access, and seasonal trends. Draw odds are very important, and they give you the most accurate information in the business. All this is available when you go to GoHunt.com/insider. Make sure you use promo code WR when you join Insider. You'll get a $50 gift card for GoHunt.com Gear Shop. All in all, if you're hunting out west in 2018, GoHunt.com Insider is where you need to be to get all the research information. When you use promo code WR, Whitetail Rendezvous receives a small commission from GoHunt.com. Hey, folks, we got a new sponsor. It's called Buckwild Coffee. What's so special about Buckwild Coffee? Well, a gazillion people go to Starbucks every day and drink coffee. Well, why shouldn't Buckwild Coffee offer you light, medium, or dark roast with free shipping? All you have to do is go to whitetailrendezvous.com, go to shop, and order your coffee, and I'll ship it out for free. This is take 3 of Whitetail Rendezvous with Casey and Hope Hutchinson, and they're good friends of mine from Colorado Springs. And we're having an interesting. We're using 2 cameras. We're doing a lot of new things because there's a lot of exciting things coming up from Whitetail Rendezvous, or which we'll be talking about later in the show. But first off, Casey and Hope, people are starting to recognize Hutch has a little Hope on social media, and they're getting a lot of inquiries about having them be on their pro staffs. And the question we were talking about, banding around on Facebook Live and Instagram Live was, when somebody offers you a pro staff position, what does it mean to you? So guys, what does it really mean to you to be offered these, and what fits into your brand?
I think at some point it's kind of an honor to have a company think that much of you and your content that they want to be part of it. It's a little different game when, in order to rep a company for free on our social media platforms or in life or on my truck driving through town or on our hunting grounds out in Kansas, and people ask, what are these stickers on your truck, or what is this outdoor company or that outdoor company? You have to really believe in the product and be able to describe it and tell them what it is. You get some companies that have requirements as far as your social media platform goes, and they want 1 or 2 posts per month about their product on your social media platform, and I'm not 100% sure that that's the direction we want to go. So we're having a lot of discussions about that, because at some point it becomes a job. Years ago, when I hunted coyotes on a competition level, and I wouldn't say professional level, but pretty close, it became a job. We were expected to go to so many tournaments every year and so many shows every year, and it zapped the fun out of it. So I took about a 5-year stint of not representing any companies and just doing our own thing, and really Instagram, that platform, kind of brought it back for us. And right now we're representing small companies, Onyx Outdoors, Mount Epic, Uptight Gear, Shield Mountain Outdoors, Elk Calls, and it's really a cool relationship with those people. They're small companies. They don't have a big name. They're out there. We just got picked up kind of like a brand ambassador for Onyx Hunt, and that opened a few doors for us. which is really cool. We're excited about that. It's our first big company that we're representing. But their requirements weren't out of line at all for the we're going to scratch your back, you scratch my back relationship that you should have with these companies. A lot of companies want the posts. They want their product on your page because you have the followers or the content, and it really just takes the fun out of the hunting. It takes the fun out of the field. Is a good way to put it.
You were telling me about your turkey hunt, and you were hunting, and all of a sudden you're taking more pictures, and Hope kind of said, "Wait a minute, what's up with that, Hope?"
It gets annoying, I guess, because he has to have the right angle and the right lighting, and I'm like trying to focus on hunting, and he's over here taking 50 pictures so he can post the right one. I mean, I get it. I mean, I totally get it, but I have my brain on other things than taking photos.
Yeah, because it is a job, and if any of you have ever seen how they shoot a video or do a photo shoot for any product, it's a lot of work, folks. It really is. And to get good quality photos for the products that you're repping, it isn't a one and done.
No.
It's a lot of photos, and you might get 1 out of 100 that really tells a story about that product. And so, there's a lot to this game in the outdoor world, and with Hope and Casey, they truly love to hunt together, have a blast together, and it's hard to figure out. So if you got any suggestions for them, please reach out to them at
HutchhasaLittleHope on Instagram.
That's the best place to reach out to them, or send me an email, and I'll make sure they get it at whitetailrendezvous.com. Now, tell us about your hunts last year. What happened, what didn't happen, and what are you looking forward to this year?
Oh, well, our archery elk hunt in Colorado last year was eventful, to say the least. We had horrible weather, horrible wind. Every time we were out in the field, we had swirling winds on the mountain. We had
it was hot.
I call them snags. The trees that have been dead for 40 years are coming down in the forest, and in my wildland role, we wouldn't be in the forest at that point. They're called widowmakers for a reason. It was a little different when you're hunting, and Hope was with me. It didn't make for a fun time at all. So we ended up bailing out of the archery elk hunt. We had a run in with our magic bull one morning, and he winded us before the sun came up. So I tried to keep him around. I called to him a little bit and mewed. Got him to stick around for a little bit, and as soon as I felt that I had a shot, I stepped into my shooting lane, and he was looking directly at us, and he bounced out of there. So elk hunting wasn't very successful. So we moved on to the Kansas whitetail hunt, and we go out. We're not big trophy hunters. I don't know if anybody knows that about us, but we like to fill the freezer. And we have 3 kids, and I don't like to buy meat at the store. So we go out to Kansas for the doe season in January, and we were successful out there. How many did we get? 4, 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah, so we brought home 4 or 5 whitetail does. We were unable to take the kids this year because they're school, but after that, our turkey season had some really cool hunts in Colorado where we got the turkeys fired up and they came running in, and right at that last second when you're squeaking the trigger and it's starting to come down and you're about to hammer that bird, and that bird sees something it doesn't like, they're fast. So they boogied out on us. So Colorado in the early season was rough. We went to Kansas and tried some new public ground that we'd never been on. There was a lot more pressure, hunting pressure than I'm used to. It made for an exciting experience. We have birds across the road from us on private land, and usually I don't have too much trouble calling in turkeys. And those birds, they're the smartest birds in the nation. There's a lot of pressure from Arkansas hunters. Came up into Kansas. I guess the bird population was low. So Kansas saw a lot more hunters. We eventually found a spot and were able to get on some birds. And I think it was 5 minutes out of the roost, we had 2 toms down. So
wow!
Yeah, it was neat. It was our two first Easterns. We had planned on going to Georgia, North Carolina, North Carolina on a turkey hunt, and that kind of fell through just because of the cost of getting there and hunting and everything else. But we were able to go down to southeast Kansas, where Hope's from, and make it happen. So that was a lot of fun.
Boy, yeah, it sounds like you have a good plan now.
Yeah.
We talked about not drawing. So what's your plans for big game hunting in Colorado this fall?
So the big game hunting in Colorado, I had really big plans. I was sure I was going to draw my elk tag in popular unit. I almost gave that away. I almost told you my unit, and I'm not going to do that. And I didn't draw. So it was really kind of a disappointing year. We drew either sex deer tags for a different unit for archery. So we'll get out and hunt. We'll buy some over-counter tags for elk and get out and see what we can get done. So.
It's Colorado. If you haven't paid attention to any of the journals, Colorado did something very interesting. They opened up applications for $3. You could apply for any limited license in the state. And then, of course, if you got it, then you had to pay for it. But in the past, you had to pay for it to apply for it.
Yeah.
Not so. And that created a lot of problems. And go read Guy Eastman's explanation of it. He does a heck of a lot better job than I do. Plus, he doesn't get emotionally involved because I live here, and point creep is one issue. Now we have a whole new issue. So I hopefully, Colorado Parks and Wildlife sees the errors of their way, or they just basically destroyed limited access hunting in Colorado. They might as well just open it up, forget the preference points, and just have a lottery because it's just.
As Coloradans, we don't want that. I mean, you have 13 points for mule deer.
Yep.
I have 9 points now for elk, and that counts towards something. You know, in the unit that I've been putting in for 9 years, it should take 7 points to draw. And you'll see about 700 to 800 applications for that unit. And I think this year it was close to 6,000 applications for that single unit. So,
and the same number of tags, folks. The tag numbers did not go up.
Yeah, so it made it really difficult. Hopefully, Colorado Parks and Wildlife changes that. Definitely frustrating.
Yeah, very, very frustrating. And the other thing, and it's you talk about point creep. The cost of hunting out of state, even whitetail hunting, gets expensive. And even if you have family farms to hunt on, buying licenses and traveling, it's not as easy as it used to be. I guess I would say that.
Right. And
that everything goes up, and I get it. Gas is not a quarter, 25 cents a gallon anymore, Bruce. Get over it.
Explain the point creep. I mean, a lot of states that don't use the point system, I'm sure they don't understand. You might have a better knowledge of it than I do, but let's say my unit wants to draw a tag there, it's going to take 7 points. But you have 9 people that have 13 points that are tired of putting in for the unit they've been putting in for. So they put in for my unit that takes 7 to burn their points. And that makes my 7 look like nothing.
Right. And it does, that happens. And it takes for any unit in Colorado that's a well-known good unit, every year, people that have more, just as Casey said, typically in the past 7 points, but I'll look at it with my 13. I'll go, I'm going to go to unit X and draw the tag. So his 7 points are thrown out the window because at any time I can choose to use my overage points. So it takes more points numerically, folks. We're talking about math here, statistics and math. Okay. And so the whole thing comes down to you never guaranteed a tag. When I drew my sheep tag, there were 2 people with 21 points. I got the tag, and the other guy didn't. Go figure.
Yeah. And now, this year, I typically didn't put in for sheep just because I'm not a trophy hunter. I don't care to spend the money on a hunt like that. And this year, that tag cost me $3 to apply for.
$3.
So why not? Yeah. So we put in for everything. We were part of the problem, but.
Well, and it doesn't discriminate. It's even harder if you're a non-resident. Colorado's plan that they put in place hurts you even more because there's not an expanding number of tags. But now instead of having a certain percentage of out-of-state people putting in for that tag that just went through the roof. So Colorado needs to clean up their act.
Yeah.
Enough said on that.
Well, tell me about your trip to Wisconsin.
Well, we've been going for about 15, 20 minutes now with Casey and Hope, and we talked about, being pro staff. We talked about their hunts, and we talked a little bit about the frustration we have with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. And now we're going to change it up, and that's why I asked them to come over, because I didn't want to do the show as a monologue. And so asked them to come over to talk about where Whitetail Rendezvous is going. But before we go there, we're going to talk about 10/30 of 2017. So Casey, ask the question again.
So what happened? I caught wind that you didn't even get to hunt.
No, and it's been an interesting last 3 years. 2015, I started Whitetail Rendezvous, and in the January, February of 2016, I had a total hip replacement. That was nice. Went through that, went on a sheep hunt actually that summer. That was crazy. Came off the mountain, and I had to have my shoulder pinned. So I didn't whitetail hunt 2015 or 16. Then in 2017, my hand blew up, and I rolled my truck 3 times.
Rolled your truck 3 times. So
So October 30th, 2017, I've got my left hand's all swollen, and I was on Highway 51 north of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, heading to KO Farms. Good friend of mine's nice farm where he has free-ranging whitetails. And I went across the Chippewa River, and I hit black ice and ended upside down 3 times and walked away.
I don't think you walked away, though.
Well, I did. I actually did walk away. I walked up the hill. Adrenaline's a good push, but I had 5 busted ribs, 4-inch hole in my lung, and that wasn't.
And what time of day was this?
Well, I hunted Buffalo County 3 days before this, because I love to be in, love to hunt Buffalo County. So I was down there hunting. And then I knew I wanted to get up to my buddy's house for Halloween, and he had this gorgeous buck. I mean, just a wonderful, wonderful. And if you saw pictures of him from trail cameras last year, just a gorgeous 10-point full frame, pick a number, but it's just a gorgeous buck, the biggest buck we've had ever on that farm. So we're all wanting to hunt him. And so I forgo Halloween in Buffalo County, hunting out of the Wamedy house, and I headed up I left Mondovi, probably 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted to get to the farm, have breakfast, and then start hunting, go to my stand. So it was probably 4:30-ish, 4:45-ish in the morning, little drizzle, 40 degrees out, no indication there was ice, and like I said, I went over the Chippewa Bridge. The ice wasn't on the bridge. It was on an overpass just past the bridge, and my back end went, and I rolled 3 times.
Dark.
Yeah, it was dark.
In the dark. So, somebody find you right away, or?
Yeah, because it was getting near time people were going to the stands. A lot of people in Wisconsin hunt. I had stopped rolling, and I was checking myself out for bleeding, breathing. I was still breathing because I could see the light flickering off the trees in front of me. I never hit a tree. It was an open bank. And so this guy yells down, "Hey, mister, are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah, tell him to bring a saw to cut me out of here." Little did I know because that I could get out the passenger side, but the driver's side was completely collapsed right down to the top of the seat. So when I rolled, I wasn't there. I had ducked out of the way or thrown out of the way. And so the guy comes down and he opens the door, passenger door, and I unbuckle and just literally roll out onto the ground and go, "I hurt," with 5 broken ribs. And then he just kind of said, "Let's check you out." And he had a flashlight, and I go, "Well, I'm breathing. I'm not bleeding. I got broken ribs, but other than that, I think I'm okay."
Here's a hot special for all Whitetail Rendezvous listeners. The Hunting Buddy app is given away and all expenses paid. Free-range whitetail hunt at ABC New York Ranch this fall. You'll be hunting with NASCAR driver Spencer Boyd, and the Hunting Buddy team, all the while being filmed by a professional film crew from Rush Outdoors, as seen on the Pursuit channel. To enter the contest for free, go to huntingbuddy.app.com. Click the Huge Hunt Giveaway section tab and download the app. When you upgrade to the Outfitter plan, you get 30 additional giveaway entries. Hunting Buddy app is your best choice for staying safe in the woods with their patent-pending safety notification system. So lunar information including peak game, activity times, current and future weather forecasts, land ownership, hunting waypoints, group hunting, and so much more, all for free from Hunting Buddy app. That's HUNT_N BUDDY app.
And basically I was.
So no whitetail hunt
Again.
You're cursed.
I am cursed. And truly, because so I went to Mayo Clinic, and second night after being in the hospital, my blood pressure went to 0. I flatlined, and that was fun. They had to resuscitate me. But the hard part was because of my lungs, I couldn't fly home after being released. They said you cannot fly home for at least a month until you get through all the breathing protocols. So I had to go to my friend's lake house about 100 miles away, and every week I had to go back to Eau Claire and go through, the rehab thing, and they check my lungs and blah, 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 because they don't do anything for busted ribs, just my lungs. And then they finally released me, so I got home, in time for Christmas. I was home sometime after Thanksgiving. But we really, on the farm I hunt along the Baraboo River, we had the worst year in 35 years. We killed 2 8-point bucks, and this is a farm that every so often we'll take a 170, a 180, but we'll take mature bucks. And everybody's pretty clued into mature buck hunting. If you're a kid, shoot anything that's legal. Other than that, we killed, I think, 6 or 8 does were taken off the farm, but it was just benign of bucks. And I got into the side-by-side, and I said, I'm going hunting one day. I took out my crossbow, and I didn't even cock it because I really didn't want to shoot anything. But I got on one of my neat spots, and I heard a buck come down the hill, never saw him. He winded me because of the wind going down the hillside the way it was set up, and he stood there for like 5 minutes. I never saw him, and then he just took off. And I was pretty well hidden. I was on the ground near a log and stuff. And so that's the closest I came to a deer. But I wasn't going to shoot him anyway because the doctors told me, if you go out in the woods, you can do one thing. You pull the trigger. You cannot do anything else. I had 5 broken ribs, folks. So
you can't field dress it. You can't pack it out.
I can't do nothing. You
can't hold the head up to take a picture.
I can't do nothing. So I wasn't really going to shoot anything anyway. But my good friend Dick and Nikki Rogers, they put us up at the lake house, and I had one downstairs room. I had the whole den, the fireplace room, all to myself. That was the infirmary, and for 22 days, calf flew out, and that was it. But that was my hunting, and I'm still recovering, folks. I wish I could tell you that I am. I'm back up walking. I was in the gym today, and there's still some residuals, but saying all that, that's a backdrop into a couple of things. One, even through it all, podcast has gone out. Whitetail Rendezvous has persevered, and I want to thank everybody that's been a guest since October 30th, 2017, because you helped me heal. It's real simple. I love what I do, and I love each and every guest that's on the show because you help me vicariously live the hunt. And it's no fun being busted up. A lot of people have situations, and hunting just keeps me going. My wife asked me, why do you keep doing it? Because I love it. What else am I going to do? I'm not going to go out and play golf now. That's for darn sure. And it just keeps me going. And because of it, we're very soon, within a matter of days, we're going to have over 250,000, 250,000 downloads. Lambeau Stadium, been there a bunch of times. There's only 80,000 people there. So I filled Lambeau Stadium 3 point whatever times. Put your head around that. No, and I'm I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but I'm proud of that fact that I've filled Lambeau Field, over 3 times. I've had over 500 guests, of which Casey and Hope have been guests twice on the show. And they're great people, some of the greatest people in the outdoors. And nobody knows their name. They fly under the radar. Fred Eichler was just on the show, and you can't beat Fred. Fred is amazing. And everybody knows him and what he does. But, for every Fred Eichler, I've had hundreds and hundreds of people that are just like you and me that love hunting, love the traditions of hunting, love the stories of hunting, and love to be around people who love hunting. And Fred Eichler is all that and more. He's a fun guy, and his enthusiasm is infectious. So, kudos to you, Fred. But having said that, I've been contacted by a couple of TV companies. We're in discussions with them to have my podcast be on TV shows. Who, what, where, and how remain to be seen. I've been contacted by somebody else, a major company, they want to be my premier sponsor. I've been contacted by Bam Outdoors with Brian Ritchie to do some work with them. So a lot of things are coming, but here's the nuts and bolts of what I'm trying to say. It took me 3 years to get here. 3 years of doing the same thing day after day after day, calling people, touching people on social media, setting up the show, doing the show, editing the show, publishing the show, and then promoting the show the day it's published. That's 5 hours of show, folks, times 530 some shows. Figure it out. And I do that because I love hunting. And I would ask each of you to just, this year, take a kid hunting, take a single mom hunting. If you're a woman, find a gal that you're friends with and take her hunting. Take her to the outdoors. Take a kid to the outdoors, but not just on a hunt. Here's the big thing about that is that where's my picture? I don't know. Over there.
Yeah, you're on that.
Okay. Here's we got multiple cameras going, so it's really funny. So here's the deal. Here's truly the deal. To take a kid hunting and put him in a blind and have him shoot a deer is great. Taking him turkey hunting, have him shoot, take him catch a fish. Now the thing is, have them gut out that deer, have them clean that turkey or that fish. Then say, Johnny, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to help you cook it. You're going to help them make a meal. Then you're going to say, Johnny, do you want to do this again? Yeah, I'd love to go next year. Okay, here's the deal. You got to come out and go shed hunting with me. You got to go out and put in food plots. If you don't put in food plots, clear shooting lanes, do something. You got to go out and help me with the stands. You've got to become a 365-day hunter to understand what it means to hunt. Hunting isn't pulling the trigger, folks. It's the whole experience. It's the journey. It's guys like Casey and Hope that I've met through Whitetail Rendezvous, through Instagram. Okay, now we're building a relationship, and hopefully we'll hunt together, and that would be a blast. But the biggest thing that I want to leave as my legacy, the last time Whitetail Rendezvous doesn't produce a show, and that's going to be a few years from now unless I'm dead, but is that everybody who comes on the show and listens to the show thinks about them as being an ambassador for hunting, not a basher for hunting, but an ambassador for hunting. Because we're all in it together. I don't care if you drive a Ford or Chevy. I really don't care. I shoot a crossbow because I got a pinned shoulder. I shoot rifles, and, I like Rugers. I don't really care what you do, but you're participating in the greatest journey that we have in North America, because we have a North American model, not a European model. And check that out. In Europe, you have to be flipping rich to hunt. You have to pay to hunt any place you go. You have to buy a beat to fish on a stream. You have to do all those things, and it's very expensive and very regulated. You think regulations are tough here, go to Europe. Just go to Europe. And it just blows your mind. Some places you can't even hunt. So we're very fortunate in North America to have the model that we have, but it's up to each and every one of us to be the best ambassador for hunting. I used to say, yeah, somebody come up to me and we talk about hunting. Yeah, I like to kill stuff. I don't say that anymore. Say, I harvest stuff and I hunt. Yeah, and I bring stuff home and we eat it. And so I'm a meat hunter like Steve Ranella. if you don't know Steve Rinella and read his book about the American buffalo, you need to read that book. You just need to read that book because it'll tell you how we're all tied into this together. And that's where the Native Americans really understood how they were tied into the whole ecosystem and the environment. And they were the first conservationists because they just knew what they had to do to sustain life. And we're soft, folks. We really are. We're soft. And because, how many of you right now, if you ever watch Naked and Afraid, could be fully naked with a flint and a steel and nothing else, could just get dropped off and make it home alive?
No, I'm a ginger. That wouldn't happen. Nope.
100 miles from your home, could you make it home? Could you make it home alive in the woods? I don't know. I used to think I could. Well, I knew I could. With my body the way it is now, I don't know. It's a 50-50 shot if I do it. But those are skills that have to be transferred. Like the Inuits. I've spent time with the Inuits. And the elders are elders for a reason because they transfer the knowledge. And I know I'm on a big rant, but it's my time, it's my show, so you can just shut me off. But the traditions were shared with the people coming up, and there were rite of passages and everything about hunting. You can bring everything that people have been doing for thousands of years right to your home, right there in Tupelo, Mississippi. You can do exactly the same thing the elders did because you're going to teach your kids. Because hunting is important. It is. It's a way we can sustain a lifestyle that people do not want us to sustain. They hate us. And some of my friends, lady friends, have told me hideous things that they've been called and told what they'd like to be done to them just because they hunt. Those are women telling other women ugly things, as ugly as you can think. That's wrong, folks, in my mind. So when I get the hate mail, just send it to whitetailrendezvous@gmail.com. I got big shoulders, and I do kill wolves. You can see that nice wolf pelt. I've had a great time in North America hunting. I haven't been to Africa yet. I will get to Africa. But it's just a great time for Whitetail Rendezvous. It's a great time for my guests. It's a great time for my listeners. And I can't wait for all the things that are building to come to fruition. And that's about all I can say. You guys, we got to close the show. I've ranted enough.
That was a long rant.
I guess it was.
It was good. It's quality content.
Oh, stream of consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been cooped up too long.
I guess so.
We'll have to get you out for
we got to do something. That's for
a
sure.
predator hunt.
So, any suggestions, tips for the people, or what do you want to share before we close? Just give you 2 cents on my rant. Their 10-minute rant.
I agree 100% with the get your kids involved. We get our kids involved from field to plate. We use the hunting and anything outdoors as an incentive to keep their grades up and their behavior in the house. So it works. It's the same as playing sports for the kids. If their grades don't warrant it, then they're not going to go. And it kills me when your kid draws a tag and you can't take them because they have 2 Ds. So use it to your advantage. Get the kids out there, teach them, like you said, teach them all the way through, from field to plate to processing, making summer sausage, making pepperoni sticks. However, get them involved. If you go back, I don't know, a month or 2 in our Instagram, you can see our kids are knee deep in whitetail hamburger making burger. They love it, and if that's something that you can see that love in their eyes for what they're doing, that's something they're going to do as adults. They're gonna keep the tradition going, and that's not something that either one of us had. This is all Hope and I are all self-taught. We didn't have parents that hunted. We didn't have those opportunities as a kid, So it's all self-taught. And my experience in the woods comes from scouts. Get your kids involved in scouts. Absolutely. It's invaluable. So especially if you're going to be in the field. We had a friend come from the Flatlands, Iowa, and we had to leave the elk hunt. Our vacation time ran out, and he said, "I'm going to stay." And I said, okay. He was in the Sangre de Cristo mountain range. And I said, if you go down, you hit the Rainbow Trail. If you go up, you hit Timberline. You've gone too far. If you go down and hit the Rainbow, hang a left, it'll take you back to where you need to go. And he called us the very first evening. We left around noon. He went out for an evening hunt. He called us around 7 o'clock in the evening and said, I'm lost. And yeah, so,
Whoa.
But it wasn't, it was like 14 texts that said, I'm lost. And I tried calling him. He didn't answer. The cell service in the Colorado mountains is
Bad.
It's horrible. Yeah, you need a satellite phone. So we ended up, we had a friend that was still on the mountain in a different part of the mountain. We were able to get a hold of him, send him up, and finally found him. But he was legitimately lost in the woods. So the whole thing with the OnX Hunt, get the app. If you're going to take your family out, get the app. It's not that expensive for what you get and completely worth it. It works with no cell service. So the next time he comes out, the next time he invites himself to come out, we'll make sure that he's a little set up for success a little better than he was.
And
So,
folks, everybody knows, but your phone is a GPS.
yeah, absolutely.
Your phone is a GPS.
You put your phone in airplane mode, it'll work just fine as GPS. So yeah.
So, I'm not saying you don't have to go buy Garmin or whoever makes the best GPS in the world, but you have a smartphone, put it in airplane mode, and get the apps. Now, there with Onyx Maps, there's other companies, but there's no reason. I guess what I'm trying to say, there is no reason for everybody, even people like me that know the way around the mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's dark. I'll throw this scenario. You know the back of your hand. I know 49 really well, the mosquito range. Okay, so I know that really well. But guess what? I fall, break an arm, break a leg. Something happens. It's dark. I can go to my phone. I can pin my phone. Then I can kind of copy that, and I can send it to Casey, and he'll come get my butt. I call search and rescue because I can say exactly, well, I'm by where this trail comes in, and the creek comes through, and 7 Mile Creek comes in, and blah, 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 rather than, okay, it's Latlan, blah, 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 blah.
Even Bruce, even for those hunters that they're kind of living off the grid and they don't have the money for a smartphone, get a compass and get a map for the area that you're going to be in. Get a good topo. There's plenty of books on navigation and plenty of YouTube videos. You can learn how to navigate, and with enough practice, like even on our fire crew, we still use map and compass for large complex fires. It's almost a necessity. You lose power, you lose whatever, and up until recent, the cell phones didn't work if there's no cell service. I mean, all the way back to the Black Forest fire, we didn't have accurate maps, so knowing how to navigate on a paper map with a compass is invaluable as well. So there's a lot of things you can do to make yourself successful in the field, and being successful in the field doesn't always include harvesting an animal. Being successful in the field is taking my wife out into the Sangres and seeing the most beautiful scenery Colorado has to offer. We don't have to harvest an animal to enjoy that time, not at all. So, and that goes back to take your kids out, teach them that you don't have to fill a tag to be successful in the field. All you have to do is smile.
And I'm smiling now because this is a great couple, and you're going to hear a lot about them in the years ahead. That's for darn sure. So with that, we've been rolling for a while, and I'm going to say thank you all for these two cameras that's wigging me out.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for listening to Whitetail Rendezvous podcast with Casey and Hope Hutchinson. Hutch has a little hope. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, up next is one of the best podcasts for specific, detailed information about what it takes to build an arrow that's going to do the job, to minimize wounding game or game getting away. And Bruce Haas, Ritter-Clark, works with Essex archery. He and I got chatting on Instagram the other day and found him just unbelievable. If you don't know what FOC is, you're going to find out. If you don't know how to read a spine chart, you're going to find out. He's going to give you some nitty-gritty, detailed, specific, how to get your arrow to the heart of the matter, to the vital zone with mass and momentum. All that's going to make sense. Tune in. You're not going to want to miss the show. If you ever wondered, what am I using and why when I'm hunting with my bow?
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.